So, shall I say who we are, or shall I say who I am and you say who you are?
Let's each say who we are.
Yes.
Individually. Okay. So let's try this. Let's try this again.
Okay. Hello, I'm Peter Rowlett.
And I'm Samuel Hansen, and I happen to be in England visiting Peter, something that wouldn't happen very often. So he decided to take me on a mathematical history tour of Nottingham.
Right. I have this book about Einstein, this biography by Michael White and John Grimmett. In this, I was looking through for accounts of Einstein visiting England, and there's a long account of him visiting Oxford to give a series of lectures in 1931. And I want to just read a little bit of this. It says, Einstein was the first scientific star of the media age. Newton and Galileo, Leonardo da Vinci and Aristotle were all famous in their own countries and within the confines of an age when mass communication was limited. However, with the advent of radio and global distribution of newspapers and road and rail transport, the world had opened up. People in all walks of lives and in every continent could share in the phenomenon of relativity and its charismatic creator. Now I know one of the things that happened in Nottingham that's related to mathematical history is that Einstein visited in 1930, a year before he came to Oxford. This book doesn't mention it, but let's go and find out more. Okay, so when Einstein lectured at the University College, at the end of the lecture, a blackboard that he'd used was varnished over and preserved, and this is it, on display in the School of Physics at the University of Nottingham. There's some stories on the side of the walls about Einstein's visit. He was anticipated to arrive at 3:45. There's a letter here from him saying that he will, but he actually decided to take a detour to go and see Newton's birthplace.
A person he greatly admired.
That's what it says. And I think the account that I read at the time was from Professor Granger, and people who've written about the visit talked about how they hoped to take Einstein to visit George Green's grave and tell him something of the history of mathematics in Nottingham, which is what we do with international visitors. see the other video, yes. But so Einstein arrived at 6:30, very, very late, and rushed in and gave this lecture. So the account I read talks about physicists gathering to hear the great physicist speak, and of German language students gathering to hear a German native speaker speak. Actually, this board is a list of topics in German that Einstein spoke about. And yes, the account I read tells that the German students couldn't understand the physics, and the physicists couldn't understand the German. And at the end, there was a chap in the room who understood physics and German, and he stood up and gave a quick précis of what Einstein had spoken about. So although it seems like one of those events that was probably quite terrible to attend, but quite wonderful to be able to say that you had attended. So at the end, as I say, they varnished over the board. Another thing that's written about here is one of the students at the time jumped up, grabbed the chalk that he'd used, split it in two and shared it with his mate.
I don't know, my favorite little story that's told here is a letter from Elsa Einstein, Einstein's wife, to Professor Frank Granger about £5 that Professor Granger had lent to Einstein, which had not yet been posted back. But, as she explains, her husband never dealt with the money.
So he arrived with insufficient money and wasn't able to send any back again by wire transfer. Yes. But no, they have a picture of this piece of chalk with a signed declaration that it is in fact the same piece of chalk, which I just think is quite hilarious. But it's a really interesting thing to see, and Einstein has signed the blackboard at the bottom and dated it 6th of June 1930.
I'm going to yell cut,
yes,
but I'm not going to yell it because that would be loud. How about you actually say that again, because I'm not entirely sure if we got through all of that.
Yeah, okay.